Welcome back to SS Anime, where we dive deep into the world of anime. Today, we're exploring Solo Leveling Season 2, Episode 3, Still a Long Way to Go. This episode takes us deeper into the world of Jinwoo, his shadow army, and the expanding mystery behind the gates. If you've been following the series, this one is packed with action, drama, and a few twists that you won't want to miss. So let's dive right into it. Since the anime adaptation of Solo Leveling first aired, the franchise has exploded in popularity. With the successful release of the video games Solo Leveling Arise and the movie Reawakening, the IP has garnered a massive global fan base. But the hype doesn't stop there. Episode 3 of Solo Leveling Season 2 is a major turning point that takes the story in exciting new directions. While it stays faithful to the source material, it manages to keep things fresh for those who've seen the Reawakening movie, offering new perspectives and deeper character moments. The previous episode, I Suppose You Aren't Aware, concluded the intense Red Gate arc, featuring a jaw-dropping battle between Jinwoo's shadow army and the Ice Elves. Jinwoo's victory brought him even more power and additional soldiers to his shadow army, making him an even more formidable force. In Episode 3, we return to a key location from Season 1, where Jinwoo faces new challenges and encounters old foes. While the anime continues to showcase impressive action sequences, it's the storytelling and character development that really elevate this episode. Despite the series' focus on power fantasy and high-octane battles, Solo Leveling also excels in its quieter moments, and Episode 3 is no exception. We get a glimpse of Jinwoo's life outside of his battles as he spends time with his shadow soldiers in some charming slice-of-life scenes. These moments provide a welcome break from the action without dragging the pace down, showing us that there's more to this world than just fighting and leveling up. A significant portion of Episode 3 is dedicated to character development, particularly for two key figures, S-rank hunter Hwang Dong-soo and Jinwoo's raid partner, Yoo Jin-ho. Both characters have been central to the ongoing storyline, and this episode expands on their arcs in meaningful ways. Hwang Dong-soo's storyline is especially important in this episode. As the brother of Hwang Dong-suk, whom Jinwoo killed in Season 1, Dong-soo has been hunting for revenge ever since. In the previous episode, Dong-soo attempted to ambush Jinwoo after the Red Gate battle, but was forced to retreat when he received an urgent phone call. Episode 3 reveals the contents of that call, and it turns out that Dong-soo's associates in America wanted him to interview a man found inside a gate, a man who claims to be a hunter from Korea. This man is none other than Jinwoo's father, Sung Il-hwan. When Dong-soo realizes the identity of the man he's dealing with, it sets off a chain of events that leads to an intense confrontation. In a moment of raw emotion, Dong-soo says to Il-hwan, "Your son's dead. If you have anything to tell him, you can do it when you meet in the next world." This powerful line marks a pivotal moment in the episode, highlighting the bitter animosity between Dong-soo and Jinwoo's family. The encounter between Dong-soo and Il-hwan is filled with tension, but what follows is a bit of a surprise, an off-screen battle between two S-rank hunters. While the fight itself isn't shown, the build-up and aftermath are compelling, as it hints at a deeper conflict between the characters. It's clear that Dong-soo has met his match in Il-hwan, a man who possesses not only immense power, but also critical knowledge about the gates, the mysterious forces that shape the world of Solo Leveling. This moment of confrontation is not just about revenge, but also sets the stage for the bigger mysteries that will unfold in the series. Il-hwan's knowledge of the gates suggests that there's much more to the world building than meets the eye. It's not just a story about powerful hunters battling monsters. It's a narrative that explores the very structure of the world itself. And this episode gives us a tantalizing glimpse into that larger puzzle. Meanwhile, Yoo Jin-ho's storyline also takes center stage in Episode 3. Jin-ho, who has been a close ally to Jinwoo since the beginning of the series, finds himself at a crossroads in this episode. His relationship with Jinwoo is explored further, with the two sharing an emotional conversation in a restaurant. This scene is a rare moment of calm in the midst of the chaos, and it allows the characters to reflect on their journeys. Unfortunately, the anime skips a minor detail from the manhwa, where the system purifies Jinwoo's alcohol before he drinks it, a small but interesting aspect of how the system interacts with Jinwoo's life. While the omission doesn't detract from the story, it's one of those small touches that fans of the source material might miss. Despite this, the scene still works well to deepen the bond between Jinwoo and Jin-ho, showing us that their relationship is more than just a simple partnership. It's one of mutual respect and understanding. However, It's Jinho's conversation with his father that really adds weight to his character in this episode. Jinho's goal of becoming the head of his father's guild has been a driving force in his arc, and this episode provides some much needed closure to that storyline. Despite being a D rank hunter, Jinho's determination and ambition are what set him apart from the others. He's not just aiming to become stronger, he wants to prove that he can run the family guild and carry on his father's legacy. Unlike Jinwoo, who has been blessed with overwhelming power and status as he levels up, Jinho has had to work hard for everything he's achieved. His struggle to rise above his limitations makes him a more relatable and admirable character. And this episode really highlights that aspect of his journey. In a lot of ways, the anime adaptation of Solo Leveling is doing a great service to the original manhwa. With added scenes, it introduces characters like Cha Hain and Go Gun-hee earlier than their manhwa counterparts, offering viewers an opportunity to form a connection with them much sooner. These additional moments don't just serve as filler. They hint at important events that will have major ramifications later on, such as the Jeju Island raid. Most importantly, these added scenes have given us more depth into characters who were somewhat overlooked in the source material, particularly in how they develop throughout the story. However, the inclusion of these extra scenes is a double-edged sword. While the intent behind adding Cha-hain's screen time is to flesh out her character, it often feels as though the anime is simply giving the fans what they want: eye candy. The anime gives us more of her, but not in a way that makes her feel integral to the plot or the story's progression. In episode 3, Hain is given a scene swimming in a pool, an added moment that, while attractive, does little to further her role in the narrative. This feels like fan service that ultimately detracts from her potential as a well-rounded character. The inclusion of Hain in these scenes might appeal to a segment of the fan base in the short term, but it doesn't contribute to her character's development in any meaningful way. Even the brief flashback she gets in episode 3, where she has a conversation with Cho Jongin, doesn't add much substance to her character. She asks Cho why the information about the Jeju raid is being kept a secret, and that's the extent of her involvement. While this scene reflects a change from the manhwa, where the Jeju raid was publicized earlier, it ultimately does little to advance the plot. The question she asks is a valid one, but it feels like more of a filler moment rather than a significant character-building scene. The problem here is that Cha Hain, despite her potential, is being sidelined in favor of these superficial moments. This is especially disappointing because the anime is nearing the point where Cha Hain was first introduced in the manhwa. While there's little room left to expand her character, the addition of scenes like the one in episode 3 does little to make her more compelling or heroic. Her introduction in the anime could have been a defining moment, but instead, the focus seems to be more on her appearance than on her role within the narrative. It's frustrating because the anime could have done so much more with Cha Hain, but instead, it plays into the trope of reducing her to a beautiful woman in great physical shape, as expected of an S-rank hunter. The anime's portrayal of Cha Hain in episode 3 is not without merit, though. Despite some missteps, the added scenes serve to remind viewers that she exists, even if they don't quite do enough to flesh her out. There's a missed opportunity here to delve deeper into her character, and the decision to focus on her appearance rather than her actions or motivations weakens her presence in the story. That said, it's not as though the anime completely ignores her importance. She remains a character of interest, but her full potential has yet to be realized. Moving on, episode 3 does manage to deliver some solid moments in terms of subtle storytelling and foreshadowing. Right after the opening theme, there's a scene where Jinwoo and Jinho sit down for a celebratory meal after completing their 19 raid missions. A simple close-up of a sizzling stove cooking meat is shown, with a hot flame beneath it. This moment wasn't present in the manhwa, but in the context of the episode, it works brilliantly as foreshadowing for what's to come. It's a subtle callback to the burning flames Jinwoo will soon be surrounded by when he returns to the demon's castle later in the episode. This brief visual moment speaks volumes and adds depth to the atmosphere without overtly pointing to it. The title of episode 3, Still a Long Way to Go, is also a nod to one of the most iconic scenes in the manhwa, which has become ingrained in the minds of Solo Leveling fans. This scene, which features Jinwoo standing atop a pile of corpses inside the demon's castle, is not only a major visual milestone, but also encapsulates his journey thus far. He looks off into the distance, reflecting on how far he has come and how much further he still has to go. His internal dialogue, still a long way to go, reflects the theme of continual growth, as he recognizes that his current strength, though impressive, is far from his peak. The anime, however, makes an interesting decision by not directly recreating this scene. Instead, it simply alludes to it through the episode's title, acknowledging its importance without attempting to recreate it on screen. While this choice may seem odd, it could be interpreted as the animators showing respect for Dubu's iconic art style, acknowledging that it's impossible to capture the essence of the moment exactly as it appears in the manhwa. Instead, they allow fans to appreciate the scene's significance while still leaving room for the anime's own unique interpretation. It's a testament to the anime's willingness to stand on its own while honoring the original work. Despite this, Episode 3 does shine in areas where the anime medium excels. The sound design, for one, adds a whole new layer to the atmosphere. The sinister music that accompanies Jinwoo's re-entry into the demon's castle, along with the creepy laughter of the demons, heightens the tension and horror in a way that the manhwa simply couldn't. The sheer scale of the dungeon is brought to life through sweeping panning shots that give viewers a sense of how massive and dangerous the demon's castle really is. These moments, combined with the seamless transitions between action and dialogue, help to maintain a lively pace throughout an episode that might otherwise be bogged down by exposition. Ultimately, while the anime adaptation of Solo Leveling does an admirable job of capturing the essence of the original work, there are moments where the decisions made in terms of character development and scene inclusion are questionable. Cha-Hain's added scenes, while a good attempt at expanding her role, end up feeling more like fan service than meaningful character development. However, when it comes to world building, atmosphere, and tension, the anime has proven that it can stand on its own, offering a fresh and exciting experience even for fans of the original manhwa. One of the triumphs of the Reawakening film adaptation was its ability to condense the first 2 episodes of Solo Leveling Season 2 into a seamless and engaging standalone arc. Similarly, Episode 3 pulls off a remarkable feat in a single episode. It's not uncommon for anime series, especially those adapting manga or manhwa, to leave episodes with cliffhangers, cutting off pivotal fights, or unresolved story elements, leaving viewers eager for the next installment. Yet, despite Solo Leveling's overarching plot still being far from complete, the decision to wrap up this brief return to the demon's castle in 1 episode stands as a wise choice by the directors. It incorporates all the crucial details without sacrificing the pacing, ensuring viewers remain captivated throughout. A1 Pictures clearly understands the strength of Solo Leveling, which is more than capable of holding its own with thrilling action sequences and exciting developments without relying on drawn-out fights or conversations to maintain interest. The episode strikes a balance between delivering satisfying action and weaving in critical moments that help build character development. Episode 3 continues to push the story forward in an intriguing way, with a focus on the solidifying of relationships and the resolution of important plot points. The anime's commitment to fleshing out characters, particularly Yoo Jin-ho, begins to pay off as his role becomes more central. This marks a significant improvement over the source material, where certain characters were often sidelined. While this episode doesn't quite reach the same level of payoff for Cha-Hain, whose scene feels more like an afterthought for fan service, it's likely that her mere presence is enough for fans who've been waiting for her to get more screen time. Regardless, the episode delivers a wealth of content that appeals to a broad audience, including action, character moments, and plot advancement. What makes this moment even more impactful is the closing line delivered by Jinwoo as he walks off screen. "Next time I come here, I'll finish it." This final promise not only serves as a powerful teaser for what's to come, but also reinforces the theme of persistence that has been central to Jinwoo's character. Unlike many anime episodes that rely on cliffhangers to pull viewers into the next chapter, Solo Leveling, Episode 3's ending is effective because it's built on the emotional weight of Jinwoo's resolve and determination. Solo Leveling Episode 3 doesn't lean on cliffhangers or unresolved conflicts to maintain momentum. Instead, it relies on expertly timed action, meaningful character development, and strategic storytelling. The balance between action and emotional depth keeps the series moving forward at a steady pace, ensuring that each episode contributes to the broader narrative. For fans of the source material, Episode 3 delivers a satisfying mix of familiar elements, new developments, and the promise of more to come. And that wraps up our breakdown of Solo Leveling Episode 3. What did you think of the episode? Are you excited for what's to come in the Demon's Castle arc? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to SS Anime for more in-depth reviews and updates on all things anime. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.